So the question is, how far will the shot put travel horizontally? And if we think about, well, what does that mean? That means it's when does it hit the ground? And at the ground, my height is 0. So I can rewrite this equation and remove the h and plug in 0 for h. And then I can have my equation where it's 0 equals the negative 200 m squared plus 3600 m plus 1 and 8 tenths. So then the question is, well, how do I solve this to find out how far it traveled? Well, I could graph it and then use the calculator to tell me what are my roots. Or if I want to calculate it manually, I can go through and I can start to use the quadratic formula. So to remember that, I would know that m is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of the quantity b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Plug in the parts I have, and I would see that I have that m is equal to negative 36 hundredths plus or minus the square root of 3600 squared minus 4 times negative 2 hundredths times 1 and 8 tenths all over 2 times negative 2 hundredths. And then I could use my calculator just to help me simplify these arithmetic statements so that I get that I have negative 36 hundredths plus or minus, and if I simplify that, I get about 523 thousandths, and this will be all over negative 4 hundredths. And when I do that, I'm going to get two values where m is equal to negative 4 and 75 thousandths, and I'm going to get that m is equal to 22 and 75 thousandths. Now think about, I'm traveling horizontally, so if I'm traveling horizontally, that means that I'm going a positive distance. I can't really go negative if I'm starting at the place where you throw the shot. So my only option here is that it traveled 22 and 75 thousandths meters. So that's a pretty far distance, pretty cool. So then the next question asks, well, what's the maximum height? Will it ever reach 5 meters tall? And if we think about, well, how could we figure out the height of this when it's in general form? Well, we could convert this over to vertex form, or we could remember that the vertex from general form can be found by doing negative b over 2a, and this comes from deriving the general form or the vertex form from general form. And then I have 4ac minus b squared over 4a. And I can plug in the components I have. So that would be negative, and then I've got the negative 2 hundredths. I'm sorry, got the 2 hundredths in the wrong place. That would be negative 36 hundredths over the 2 times negative 2 hundredths. And then I plug in my parts. There's negative 2 hundredths, the 1 and 8 tenths, minus 36 hundredths squared over 4 times the negative 2 hundredths. Now here, at this point, I've got the idea of what I'm doing. I can use my calculator to help me simplify this expression on each side, and I end up with 9 comma and about 3 and 42 hundredths. So the question is, well, what does that mean? Well, that means that when it's traveled horizontally 9 meters, it is at a maximum height of 3 and 42 hundredths meters. Well, the question asked, will it ever reach a height of 5 meters? And this is saying, well, if this is my maximum height is 3 and 42 hundredths meters, so no, it can never reach that height.